This is my buddy Brian. I'm Richard. I tend to take things a little too serious, so goofing around is good for me. And this is Georgia, my better half. We hope you join us for our adventures and travels on Cabo. Last time we made a 5-leg passage day sailing north from Grenada to Martinique. We had trouble getting fuel in Grenada, had trouble with the board gearbox. We sailed on to Tyrrell Bay in Caracau and actually got fuel. Each day we continued to sail north. We experienced all kinds of weather: sunny, windy, no wind, rain, wind. Day sailing was a pleasant change from the hard work in the yard. It was nice to be sailing under a full main, traveling to new places. That hat just isn't working well. Hanging out at the helm as we make our way and splashing through the waves is a good day. We traveled a total distance of 185 nautical miles. We had very little wind en route to Rodney Bay in St. Lucia and had to motor. We had our worst weather with near zero visibility on our way to La Marine in Martinique. We concluded our passage docking stern to. During the passage, the windex had come loose, so it was time to go up the mast and make repairs. 3 months prior, we had ordered a full enclosure for the helm and cockpit and a new headliner for the salon. We were in Martinique to have those installed. We were told that it would take 3 days to install the enclosure and the headliner. I had planned for us to be there a week, just in case other matters came up, and gave us time for provisioning and maybe even a little sightseeing. While I was up there, it was a good time to inspect the rigging, and I had found several loose fittings, so those were all tightened. It may not look like much, but I am sitting in a bosun's chair, which is basically a swing, about 50 feet or so above the deck, hanging onto the mast with my legs, so my arms are free to perform the job. It is rather challenging. Everything that happens up there is about trying to get into a good position so that the job can get done with the most ease while being safe at the same time. Drop me down 6 inches. Good. Falling or dropping tools, well, can be not good. I'm switching to the other side of the mast so I can have a better angle to tighten the nuts. I need to hold the bottle jack to keep it from turning when I tighten the nut. I just can't seem to get the right angle, so I swing over to the other side of the mast to get a better angle, tightening the bottom nut on that particular bottle jack. It really takes more time just getting the wrenches in the right position than it actually does to tighten up the nut. Taking a break for a minute. On to the other ones. The other job up there was treating the stainless steel to get rid of the surface rust. In treating the stainless steel, the chemical goes on, sits for a bit to dissolve the surface rust, and then is rinsed off with water. There are pinholes in the lid to regulate the discharge of the water. My spray bottle was destroyed when I fell on it in Grenada, so this would have to do. A view of the marina from the mast. Brian is lowering me down the mast as the job is complete. Brian did an amazing job managing the lines and getting me up and down the mast safely. Thank you, Brian. It's a good thing I went up, found 2 loose nuts on the diamond rigging.
I know, that's what I saw.
Same spot where the radar was installed. You think the guy would have noticed?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I had used the main halyard to get up and down the mast. Now I'm reattaching the halyard to the mainsail. Can you pull her up, please? That's good. I'm tired now. Thank you, Brian. One of the good things about La Marine is that it is the center of the yachting world in this part of the Caribbean. Many services, parts, and skilled labor is available here. As we were having refrigeration and freezer issues, we requested support and we got it. I had the thermostats replaced, one of which fell apart when it was being removed. The level of the refrigerant was checked in both the fridge and freezer. The fridge needed more refrigerant. There was also a low voltage issue on the fridge, which turned out to be a loose connection, and one circuit board needed replacing. While these units are not perfect, they are working much better. The freezer freezes and makes ice. The fridge keeps the food from spoiling and keeps it cold. There's a lot happening in this video. Dennis on the left is replacing the freezer thermostat. Brian, who is in the background, is double checking the radio MMSI number, and Morgan on the right is calling about getting the AIS MMSI number changed. We were able to change the MMSI number in the radio, and when I say we, I really mean Brian. Brian figured out that the radio can be reset, wiping the existing number, which will allow a new MMSI number to be installed, and Brian did all of that. What we didn't realize was that the MMSI also needed to be changed in the AIS, and we got help for that.
Il était à -3 quand moi je suis arrivé. Ouais, alors au thermomètre. Mais il y avait tout ce qu'il y avait dedans était congelé. Hein. Il y avait de l'eau et tout, c'était congelé. Hein. Il y avait des aliments. Quoi? Oui, il y avait des aliments, ils étaient congelés. Hein. Il y avait du yaourt, il y avait tout ça c'était congelé.
Unbeknownst to us, the enclosure had not been delivered to Net Boat yet. What? This was ordered 3 months ago to avoid this kind of hiccup. It had been shipped, but the box it was shipped in got damaged, so it was returned to the shipper. Then it had to be shipped again. I had signed up for UPS notices once I had the tracking number to see if I could track the shipment. We eventually confirmed that the enclosure was in Martinique, but it took a long time for it to get out of customs so that UPS could actually deliver the enclosure to Net Boat. This is one of my many walks to the office to stop in and inquire if there was any new news or information pertaining to the delivery of the enclosure. I didn't record any of the many conversations pertaining to the enclosure delivery, as I thought I was becoming quite annoying. This shipping delay added 10 days to our stay. Well, I'm already here. I might as well visit the chandlery and pick up a few things that we need as we continue with other boat projects. As we waited for the delivery of the enclosure, there were other boat projects to tend to. We tightened the trampoline for the 3rd or 4th time. We installed a new Genoa furler line and then promptly cut it shorter than the one we replaced. Okay, fine. We got another furler line, installed it, and we did not cut it. We repaired a 1/2-inch gap at the bottom of the refrigerator door. That should help with the keeping it cool. Gee whiz. We added water to our tanks. We installed a new gray countertop covering at the TV freezer area. We replaced the kinked port AC condenser cooling water line, made several small gel coat repairs, took out all the cushions and took photographs of the boat, got a new microphone cable for the VHF radio, wired the Apple TV to the same TV power source, which is a 500-watt inverter, repaired the shore power cord that had a bad ground, and installed an on and off power switch for the radar. When the freezer was reinstalled, it accidentally knocked off all the electrical connections from the light switches. So fortunately, this had happened before and someone had numbered all the wires, so it was quite easy to put all back together. We don't have a rental car, so off on foot we go to the market to get some provisions. It's only a 1/2 mile away, or about 800 meters. It's a nice walk, mostly level and along the waterfront, which is always a nice venue. We stopped along the way and did a bit of browsing in this really nice shop. Shopping in Martinique is rather good. There's a good selection of everything you might want. The produce is fresh and quite tasty, and this is one of the things I really like about Martinique, the tasty fruit and vegetables. I believe much of it is locally grown. There's a large selection of different kinds of meats. We're not really big meat eaters, and yet I found this display interesting for some odd reason. So after getting our provisions, we made our way back to the boat. The store provides a dock cart to assist getting the provisions back to the boat. Here I am returning that dock cart.
Ah, moi je me mets là-dessus.
Oui, théoriquement tu te mets là-dessus, mais là vu que tu as besoin d'enlever juste un peu, parce que si tu mets le petit drain. Ouais, tu me dis.
After I reported the issues with the clutch and made a request for repair, 3 different people came to the boat to troubleshoot the clutch issue. All concluded that the clutch needed to be rebuilt. I knew that, and I appreciate them confirming my findings, so I didn't spend any money on something I didn't need to do. Prior to starting the clutch removal, several items needed to be removed to make access to the top of the gearbox. The engine mounts are unbolted from the boat. The engine is pulled forward to allow the clutch shaft to be removed from the gearbox. A support bar and a chain ball was used to support the engine as it needed to be moved forward.
En fait là je me lève, après t'as juste à lever un petit peu le cul et il glisse tout seul.
It's not ready to come apart, but in this view it separates quite easily. The clutch assembly you see here was taken to the shop and rebuilt. While the engine was moved around, I noticed that one of the engine mounts had separated, so these needed to be replaced. During the survey, I noticed that the engine mounts looked worn. I should have added it to the list of items to be replaced, and I didn't listen to myself. The lesson here is, be your own best advocate and take your own advice. While the clutch was being repaired, we got the AIS unit and the repaired VHF radio back. These were reinstalled and tested. Now other boats will see us on their AIS as Cabo instead of the old boat's name. After the clutch assembly was removed, the mechanic left for lunch and returned later in the afternoon and completed the job, including replacing the engine mounts. A big thank you for your hard work getting us shipshape. Farmers Market is only a quarter mile away, or 375 meters, so off we went to see the wares. Hi guys. Hi. Hey little guy. Oh, they're so cute. The blue buildings on the right are probably the best designed waste management footprint I've ever seen around a marina. There's a place for general waste, a separate place for cardboard, and a third place for oils, paints, and chemicals. The area is well maintained, and the general waste can be another man's treasure. Now, without exaggeration, we purchased a couple of melons from this market, and they were the best tasting melons we have ever had. We went back for more. That's all for now. Come back next time as we try to figure out when the enclosure will arrive. We take some excursions and continue with boat projects. Thanks for watching.